Y'all, it's time to be reasonably shady. Yo, we got to talk about this episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. We are in season 7, episode 11, and it is showtime for Reasonably Shady. You know, that's how Gizelle says it every time, and every time it just tickles me pink, okay? It tickles me pink. Now, we got to discuss the shenanigans and the goings on in this episode, okay? We got a lot of interesting reveals, and Karen was literally doing a house tour, getting all the tea and all the gossip from every which way. Honestly, this episode was very like Karen narrating this entire episode was hilarious to me. Okay, hilarious to me. So, let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comment section down below. I'm thinking on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5. I felt like it was good in the sense that things happen. It was a pleasant episode to recap. Like, I didn't feel like I had to do a ton of writing. So that's always a good thing. Sometimes when it's just a scene that I can watch and enjoy for the sake of just enjoying it, that is always nice. Okay. But I felt like it had some cool elements. We finally got to see what the Reasonably Shady live show has been like. Chime down in the chatterization if you guys have been to the live shows. I'm always interested in what makes a live show amazing. You know what I'm saying? So let me know if you went to the show and if you went to their most recent show. I think it has already happened. I'm not necessarily sure. Up in New York City. I know that they did Watch What Happens Live, but if there's anything on there that is noteworthy, we will save it for a separate video. So let's get into the review, okay? And also chime down in the chatterization and let me know what you guys would rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10 and tell me why. Okay. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the biznai of the episode. So we start the episode with Karen at Gizelle's house, and Karen is raving about the place. You know, all the updates and the upgrades, the place where there's going to be a movie theater downstairs, the chandeliers. Oh my! And you know, Karen has gifts for the girls. You know, Gucci necklaces and such. Okay. And I must say that I said it before when I talked about this scene earlier, and I must say it again. Giselle needs to leave her hair just like this. It looked amazing. Okay. It looked good. I was pleasantly surprised. I was shocked and awed. I was like, yes, Giselle, this you are on point with. This you are on point with. Anyway, Giselle wants to know about Karen's show. Okay. Now, Karen's show is, in Karen's words, it's like a live show in Bloomingdale's with sizzle topics and a love panel. Okay. And performances and such. All right. And Karen is indeed inviting all the ladies. So they talk about Mia, and Karen says, Karen says that what she loves about Mia is that when Mia is wrong, she owns it. I guess I ain't seen that, on the show. You know what I'm saying? I guess I ain't really seen that element of Mia yet, of her being wrong and really owning it. And I guess maybe I'm looking for some ownership with regards to her and the Wendy situation. But it seems like we just have glossed on past that. So we just gonna keep it moving. All right. Meanwhile, she don't like Jacqueline speaking for Mia, but that's nonetheless. Giselle tells her about her interpretation of what Mia said about Mia. If Mia wouldn't be a good friend if she wasn't making sure that Jacqueline wasn't good and riding around in her Porsche. Now, I can see why Giselle would maybe misconstrue this as Mia taking some type of credit for Jacqueline having a Porsche, but that is not the verbiage that Mia used that Giselle is peddling to Karen. So I felt like she putting 20 on 10, and adding a little extra stank on it for the sake of gossip. But that's just me. And she also tells Karen that Mia let Jacqueline sleep with an ex while Mia watched. and wonders if they shared Gordon. Also, Mia and Jacqueline were showering together. Karen says, well, if you could see them showering together, chances are they wanted to be seen. Okay. Moving right along. I mean, listen, do what you do, whatever makes you happy. Anyway, it's 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 in the morning, the pancake house. So what? 4 in the morning. Okay. Uh, listen, I can't help it. It's in my notes, 5 a.m. That's immediately where my mind goes. I'm in the DMV area, so the go-go pops up in my head. Okay, I can't help it. Okay. Anyway, she going to the emergency room. She got the kidney stones. It's 9 centimeters, and they got to take it out. Boom. Ashley is back at the apartment with the kids when Daisy the nanny stops by. We sure have seen a lot of these people in Ashley's life these days, as we're gonna see in the preview for next week. Anyway, Michael just called with good news. Apparently, he's been helping her look for the house still, and a house just came on the market that's 5 bedrooms. Now, she's going to leave all the actual home buying things and negotiating and things to Michael. See, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. For me, for me, if we divorcing, I mean, I might take some assistance from you, because I ain't never bought no home before. But best believe I'm gonna be there watching you with a magnifying glass, okay? And I might even have a lawyer there too to make sure that all of my T's and my I's are dotted and I see everything that you're doing. Because the last thing I want to do is get some type of okey doke and my name ain't on the deed, ain't on nothing, and it's your name instead. Okay. Anyway, Gizelle and Robyn stopped by the venue for their live show, and it's 2 days before the show. Now, apparently, Robyn is nervous because they're selling 150 VIP tickets, but they don't have enough to fill up all the seats. Okay, they ain't got no sponsors, and all of their money in is about $10,000 for the investment for this show. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the $10,000 for? Okay. I can see the step and repeat. I know how much those cost. So to me, I don't understand what that is. Maybe it's for, flyers and, radio ads or something like that. Or I have no idea. But maybe it's for the use of the space. That could also be it as well, because I don't know what the space is that they did it out of. So maybe they have to pay a certain amount for the use of the space, and then the ticket sales will cover the cost of the use of the space. And that is how they will make their revenue. Anyway, Juan has agreed to be part of the show, but they are worried that he will suddenly forget that he agreed and not show up. Now, Gizelle is in her feelings because she too has been not invited to Robyn's wedding to Juan, where there will only be the four of them there, and she don't know the date. Gizelle is fishing for a date, and she gets nada, okay, because Robyn ain't got a date. They have some things that they need to iron out first, specifically this prenup that she's scared to talk to him about. Meanwhile, Candiace is shooting her single for her song Insecure with Miss Trina. Her mama's there. She's doing her crunches. The video shoot is glam. It's glitz. It's a lot of red. And I mean, I do like the song. It did give me high quality. We know that she spent about 25 G's on this. And so, I mean, listen, I just feel like you invest in yourself and the fruits of your labor will blossom. And so we just have to say, you know what, Candiace, keep doing the doggone thing. She's on a show on All Black called Hush. They are giving her rave reviews for her acting on that show. And in my mind, Candiace, this is how you ride this wave on into your next chapter. Okay. I mean, listen, I understand with Housewives, you can still do the acting and things like that, but I see you on the rise. And so my only fear is that if you stay on Housewives, that you get pulled into some mess and then that ruins your opportunities for what you need to do moving forward. Okay. Because right now you are positioned for greatness within this acting space. You know what I'm saying? People are booking you. You are making those coins. You are making those appearances. You are getting the features. So in my mind, I give it about maybe 2 more seasons, period. Okay. Anyway, over at Robyn's, she and Juan chat about the wedding. For him, it's like this. He says, all this stuff is all about you. Our last wedding was all about you. So it's just going to be the same way this time. I'm just happy that the boys are going to be a part of the wedding. So anyway, she wants to talk about the meeting that she had with the lawyer and how it came up about them putting an infidelity clause in the prenup. And he doesn't think that's an issue since they've been together for so long. He actually insists that they are not those types of people. Because she talks about the horror stories about things becoming contentious when it comes to divorce and somebody trying to take somebody else's money, because she remembers a time when basically she was on the outs with him when they were getting a divorce, and lo and behold, he's dating another woman and things became contentious. And she says she can't imagine what it would be like if there was some coins involved. So she wants to protect herself in the event that this whole thing should happen all over again. But ultimately says he would not. He says he would not do her like that. So, I mean, I guess the ball is in Robyn's court because we didn't really get a final verdict on what they were going to do about that. I don't know if they're going to stretch this out for the next 2 years as well, but whatever. Anyway, Wendy arrives home from the hospital. Her mom is there. It's a nice little scene. Mama's trying to give her some pork chops and some wine. Wendy don't want no wine. She wants some water and some soup. So mama take the wine. Basically, what they do is they kind of come to the conclusion, because mom just got out of the hospital as well. So they come to the conclusion that they both need to stop working so hard. Okay. And they need to change their lifestyles. And also Wendy wants to show her daughter something different, because what she got from her mama was overworking herself. Okay. And so ultimately, I don't know what she's gonna do differently because she didn't say in the scene, but mama wants to get her tatas done. Anyway, over at Mia's house, Karen is literally just driving from house to house getting the tea. And so she asks if, are you and Gordon good? And she mentions that she went to go visit Gizelle and that Gizelle was too happy to tell her that she had peeped, Mia and Jacqueline in the shower together in Miami. And so Karen is like, so you and Mia, you and Jacqueline shower together. And Mia's like, yes. And so Karen is like, oh, so that's something you enjoy. Okay, cool. So then she's like, asking about the boyfriend thing. And if, Mia really watched Jacqueline do with her ex or whatever. And Mia says, well, she and Jacqueline have done some promiscuous things. I mean, it is what it is, And Karen says, okay, so you will love us. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine. You will love us. And Mia's like, no. And Karen is like, well, what kind of weird promiscuous things is you doing if you're not screwing? Are you kissing? Are you fondling? It was the way Karen was interrogating her that was sending me into hysterics, okay? So you were lovers? But here comes the tea. So Mia just wanted to look inside, the cervix and things and, get a flashlight and see what's all up in there. What's in this thing? What's in there? Can I open that up a little wider? Let me see. Let me take out. You know what? Let me take out my special glasses. Let me take out my special glasses and let me see what's going on up in there. Okay. Let me see if can you open them things a little wider so I can see? Oh, that thing is gone. And that's what's all. You got a lot of things going on up in there. For real. Ooh. I didn't know all that was up in there. Ooh. So that's all she wanted to do was play OBGYN. All right. And so then Karen says, well, Gizelle said something about, you and G having relations with other people. Was it Peter? I thought Mia was going to say no. And she said no. But she said, no, it was Peter's girlfriend. Let me tell y'all something. This was the last thing I was expecting today. Okay. This was the last thing I was expecting. This wasn't on my mood board. It wasn't definitely not on my vision board. And I really feel like I didn't see it in the magazine or the newspaper or the Bible. I was not, this was not what I was thinking she was going to say. Okay. It was apparently Peter's girl. And now things make sense to Karen because Karen is reflecting upon the argumentation that when Wendy and Mia got into it and Wendy was going in about why it was so important about what Peter thought. And Wendy said something like, I mean, is you doing something with Peter too? I'm paraphrasing. And so then we see Mia get all upset. And so Karen is like, oh, now it's all coming together. Okay. Now it's all, ooh. So apparently, Peter's girlfriend was Mia and G's girl, okay, before she was Peter's girlfriend, okay? Listen, Peter's girlfriend, I am so sorry that we are having to have this conversation about you. Ordinarily, I would not like to even have to include you in on this conversation, but because it was mentioned on the show, we got to talk about it. Now, I, for one, am not judging you for, participating in whatever you want to participate because, grown folks do what grown folks do. I was just taken aback because that was not what I was expecting. Okay. So let me set the record straight that my surprise was more or less because of who it was, not what y'all was doing, because grown folks can do whatever grown folks do. All right. But I do wonder if Peter knew. Anyway, um oh god. So anyway, it's the day of the Reasonably Shady live show. Ashley arrives first, followed by Sharice. Okay. And then Karen and Ray arrive, followed by Juan and the boys. Karen is actually shocked but surprised to see Juan, who actually gives her a hug. And, then Karen wonders, well, why are all the seats so empty in here? So, in the spirit of Robyn Dixon, she decides to pick up her phone and she gets to recording. And now we have, Karen Huger MZ or whatever it is recording all the empty seats. And so we learned that Candiace will not be in attendance because she doesn't believe that Gizelle is worthy of any level of support at this point. And anyway, Mia and Jacqueline arrive and the show begins. Now, we start the show off, I think, on the wrong foot. Okay. It could have been the right foot because maybe the host was joking, but he starts by announcing them as Robyn Bryant. Okay. And so this starts Karen on a path of thinking to herself, let me make some notes about what not to do for my live show that is like a live show in Bloomingdale's. You know what I'm saying? First things first, no drunk hosts. Okay. Make sure the hosts know your name. And so then you got to make sure the mics are working because Lord Robin's mic wasn't working. But these are the things that happen when you do a live show. And I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what you got to expect sometimes. There may be technical difficulties. I have DJ'd long enough to know that at some point in time, you will run into some major issues that will make you want to jump out of your skin. And this is just the nature of any live show. So you can't really hate on them too bad for these little things that go wrong, especially because it was their first one. I know people think that I don't like Robyn and Gizelle for some reason, and I get why you can think that. I don't have a dislike for them. I dislike some of the things that they do. There is a big difference, and I wish that people really understood that. But I think some people are just committed to to thinking that I think it is easier for a person to digest that I don't like them versus hearing harsh criticism of their actions because I'm criticizing somebody that may be your fave, right? But in this instance, I'm just trying to be as objective as I can, especially because I know what it is to do things live. Especially coming from the DJ world, I've hosted events before, so I get it. All right. Um Juan makes his way for the stage for a reasonable or shady segment. They do a little dance segment, but Karen is bored, okay? So she don't want no boring dancing at her show either. Then comes the Q&A segment, and the first and only question we hear is, when is the wedding? Okay? And Robyn says, stay tuned. And Karen and her commentary on Robyn and this wedding sent me into hysterics. It is one of these things where I could try to describe it for you, but you honestly just have to watch the episode to catch all the shade that Karen threw, and then you will understand why I say this was really Karen's episode. Okay. And the funny thing about it is, it's Robyn and Gizelle's show, but it was really Karen who was providing us with the laughs in this episode. Meanwhile, we learned that the show was a success, somewhat. I mean, they didn't fill all the seats, but they did make a profit. They spent $10,000. They made $14,000 back. $4,000 split two ways, $2,000 a piece. I feel like that's not a bad gig for their first ever show. And then they can take the notes that after they do their recap together, they can take those notes and apply it to their second show. The first thing that I would have suggested is to find a smaller venue. I think that if you are to do a live show versus trying to go for a big venue, you go for a small venue to make sure that you can sell out the show. That is literally plan number one. Sell out the show and make your money back, obviously. But I feel like if you sell out the show, you get the footage, and you can say that your show was sold out, then you allow people to feel that buzz. Okay, they had some sold out shows. Okay, this is a thing. I need to get up in there, right? So then people will want to start coming to the next one. So I think that that was probably one of their only mistakes that I could see. And again, you improve as things go along, right? So anyway, and for me, it's a step up from the tent in the reasonably shady yard of Gizelle. So Ray and Karen hit the road as soon as it's over because they're out of there. And Gizelle wants to chit chat with Jacqueline and Charisse. Now, Gizelle asks if Mia bought Jacqueline her Porsche, and Jacqueline says, "No, I bought my Porsche." And Gizelle remembers Mia saying that she bought it. And of course, Charisse remembers it the exact same way that Gizelle remembers it. Why would we expect anything less? Listen, my issue with Charisse is this. It just feels like she was brought on to be an add-on to the Robyn and Gizelle duo to make it a trifecta. And I don't like that because ultimately what we saw happen earlier is Robyn picking up the phone, calling Charisse to get Charisse to say that she did not put her hands on her to hold her back. And of course, Charisse just went ahead with it and agreed with it. And it was proven that that was not the case. So that's why I'm like, come on, Charisse, you gotta step it up a bit. And you can't just be the tag along, follow along, pick me, because ultimately I feel like you being the person who helped put this group together, you do have an obligation to call things out as you see them, unless your memory is just as bad as Gizelle's, because the clips clearly show that Mia did not say that. Okay. What Mia said could definitely be misconstrued, but those were not her words. Those were her words if you wanted them to be her words, but that's not what she said. Okay. What she said was, if she if she ain't winning pulling up in her Porsche, I'm a terrible friend. That's not to say that Mia bought the Porsche. That could be to say that I'm putting my friends up on game so that they can do the things for themselves that they want to do. I'm going to always make sure my friends are good so that they can have like I have. That could have just been what she meant. Okay. Now, that could have been taking more credit than what she actually did. I really don't know, but I definitely didn't take from it that she bought her the Porsche, at least for me. Anyway, Gizelle asked, well, did Gordon buy the Porsche? Girl, she just told you that she bought it herself. When are you going to let this go? Let this go, because right now I feel like Gizelle and Charisse are fishing, specifically Gizelle, fishing for something that is not there. Okay. there may be something there, but I don't really think it's all that you were trying to make it feel like. I feel like Gizelle is trying to put some extra stank on this. She's trying to put some paint in the pool, okay? And we all know one drop of paint ain't gonna necessarily turn the whole pool red, but you throw a whole bucket in there, and it's doggone sure gonna be rouge by the time you get done with it. And so I feel like that's what she's trying to do. So Jacqueline says, so wait, I'm the side piece now? And then Gizelle says, well, Mia likes to watch and Gordon likes other women. So then Gizelle asks if Jacqueline ever asked to join them. So I'm like, girl, you is still fishing in this pond and you just coming up short. So Jacqueline says, this is where Jacqueline messes up to me. Jacqueline says, well, I'm going to let Mia answer that. Now, girl, Jacqueline, I was rocking with you, okay? I was rowing with you, but I need you to paddle the boat, okay? Because now you are giving Gizelle the ammunition that she needs to take this information and ultimately help destroy your friendship. But she had your help to do so. Because what you should have said was, no, that's not what happened, or yes, it did, okay? Because ultimately, by leading that conversation and saying, well, I'm going to let Mia respond to that when, girl, you was there or either you wasn't there. Which one was it? Your best bet is to answer as directly as possible because I don't know. I mean, a blind man could see that Gizelle is leading an inquisition because she is headed in a direction that she wants to go and forming a narrative that she is determined to form. And you are basically giving her the bait that she needs to do it. So why don't you just come forth and say exactly what you mean? So anyway, Jacqueline says she doesn't spill that type of tea, and then Ashley walks up. So meanwhile, as Robyn is thanking Mia for coming and apologizing for not making it to the joint opening, Mia's like, girl, that's okay. We got another one opening in June. Gizelle calls Ashley over. Gizelle says they got to catch Ashley up, and then she calls Mia over. And Gizelle says what she thought she heard Mia say about the Porsche. We are still on this Porsche. Why, Lord, why? So Mia says, well, yes, Jacqueline's car is in her name. Mia, you should have just said that girl bought her own Porsche. Because now it's giving more questions to the group, okay? Did she buy? I mean, did she buy it? That's the question. Who bought it? Okay, because I thought Jacqueline said she bought it. Okay. Do we need to reiterate that? And anyway, Robyn throws in this idea. Well, Juan, when he was in the NBA, he bought a lot of people cars, and they was all in their own names. Why are you buying all these people cars? I mean, I don't know. If I'm thinking to myself, if I'm balling, I'm not buying all these people cars. Buy them yourself. I mean, listen, no. Cars are depreciating assets unless you're about to put them on Turo. I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. Jacqueline points out that Mia could potentially buy her a car, but then Gizelle says she thought that Gordon bought it. Here we go again. Mia wants to know, well, why does everybody think that Gordon buys everything? And then she says, Gordon ain't got no money. I'm like, Mia, what? How did you just throw Gordon under the bus? And why he ain't got no money? Is it just Mia who is owning the joints? I guess I'm confused. I don't know. But she's saying the man ain't got no coins. So I really don't know. I guess it is what it is. So then Gizelle wants to know about the ex-boyfriend, and that Jacqueline told Gizelle to ask Mia if she slept with Gordon. Mia laughs and says, Jacqueline and I need to compare notes on what we're going to tell y'all or not. And I'm like, yeah, y'all probably do. Okay. So Mia points out that Gizelle, rightly so, is really just nosy and in everyone else's business. So no one butts into hers, but she ain't really got none to begin with. Okay. Let me tell you something. I feel like Gizelle got some business that she keeps very far and away from this show. Anyway, Jacqueline says she just didn't want to have the conversation about this without Mia being there. And I'm like, well, girl, you should have just said that. And anyway, Sharice makes a point about, well, if somebody asks if I slept with Juan, I'm going to say heck no. So I don't understand why you ain't saying heck no about Gordon. Anyway, again, I still feel like Gizelle is really fishing hard into this pool, trying to make something out of nothing. I mean, clearly there is some oddity or something going on in the situation, but I don't know if it's if it's given what she is trying to make it give. Okay, but that's just my opinion about it. So anyway, Gizelle says she's going to table it for now because I think she realizes that she couldn't. There was no place else to go with this conversation right now. So until she's ready to strike again, okay, and I am sure she will, she's gonna let it go for now. In the meantime, Mia and Jacqueline, what y'all need to be doing is y'all need to be getting y'all notes together because these girls are gonna pick y'all apart one by one. Trust and believe they have an agenda, and you are falling right prey into their hands. Okay. Um, and Karen has said in her confessional, y'all talking too much. Okay. You're talking too much. Because what'll happen is you talk too much around this group and they're going to take those words and they're going to use it against you. Okay. Anyway, that's the tea for this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I am actually headed to my hometown because my uncle passed and I have a funeral today, which is why this video isn't live. I had to pre-record it. So you guys just pray for my just traveling mercy, and I pray that you guys are having a safe and happy start to the week. Y'all know I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next video.